From pennies to eternal nights, 3 alien sisters chose my heart. The bizarre discovery. Jonas Reed moved through the crowded spaceport bazaar with practiced invisibility, his worn jacket pulled tight against the recycled air. As a freelance cartographer, he spent most days alone mapping uncharted asteroid fields, work that paid poorly but asked nothing of his damaged heart. His last relationship had ended 3 years ago, and he'd retreated into solitude ever since. The vendor's stall caught his eye purely by accident. 3 crystalline pods sat forgotten in the corner, each the size of a melon and swirling with inner light, pearl white, deep crimson, and soft amber. Those? The vendor barely glanced up. Decorative junk. 5 credits for all 3. Jonas had exactly 5 credits left until next week's payment. Something inexplicable drew him forward. I'll take them. Back in his cramped quarters aboard the aging station Kepler 9, Jonas set the pods on his only table. They were beautiful, really. Probably the nicest things he owned. He made instant noodles and settled in with his star charts, trying not to think about how quiet his life had become. Near midnight, a low humming filled the room. Jonas looked up to find the pods vibrating, hairline fractures spreading across their surfaces. Light poured through the cracks, not harsh but warm, welcoming. He stumbled backward as they shattered in sequence, 3 forms emerging in cascades of luminous mist. They were women, or something magnificently like women. The first stood tall and regal, her skin shifting between pearl and starlight. Silver eyes met his with ancient wisdom. The second radiated heat, her dark bronze skin traced with glowing crimson patterns. The third seemed youngest, golden and luminous, moving with shy grace. "You freed us," the tallest one whispered, her voice like wind through crystal. "After 300 years, you freed us." Jonas's mouth opened, but no words came. He simply stared as 3 impossible, beautiful beings stood in his tiny, lonely room and smiled at him with something that looked remarkably like hope.
First connections. The tallest sister stepped forward, her movements fluid as water. "I am Nithara. These are my sisters, Serena and Lissa. We are the daughters of Lumara, exiled for refusing an arranged political union." Her silver eyes softened. "Our people imprisoned us in stasis as punishment. By ancient law, we are now bound to the one who frees us." Jonas finally found his voice. "Bound? I don't understand. I just bought some pods at a market." Serena laughed, the crimson patterns on her skin pulsing warmly. "Not bound as slaves, human. Bound by choice and gratitude. We choose to stay with you, if you'll have us." Her gaze traveled over him with open appreciation. "You seem kind. Lonely, perhaps. Like us." "I'm Jonas," he managed, heart hammering. "And yes, very lonely." Lisa, the golden one, moved closer with gentle curiosity. "Your dwelling is small but warm. Your heart is guarded but good. We felt it the moment we woke." She reached out tentatively, her fingertips brushing his hand. The touch sent pleasant warmth up his arm. Over the following days, Jonas's world transformed. The sisters learned about human customs with delightful enthusiasm. Nithara proved brilliant, devouring his books and star charts. Serena was playful and bold, teasing him until he blushed, then laughing with pure joy. Lisa noticed everything: how he took his coffee, the way he rubbed his neck when stressed, and the sadness that sometimes crossed his face. They cooked together in his tiny kitchen, their shoulders brushing. They watched old films curled on his narrow couch, Lissa's head resting on his shoulder, Serena's hand casually on his knee, Nithara's fingers playing with his hair. "Why me?" Jonas asked one evening, his voice barely a whisper. Nythera turned to face him fully, her silver eyes luminous in the dim light. Because you saw beauty in what others called worthless. Because loneliness recognizes loneliness. She leaned in slowly, giving him time to pull away. Because we want you. When her lips met his, soft and sure, Jonas felt 3 years of ice begin to thaw.
Building trust. The kiss with Nythara was gentle but thorough, her lips tasting of starlight and promise. When she pulled back, Serena was watching with warm approval, Liza with shy anticipation. "We don't want to overwhelm you," Nythara murmured, her thumb tracing his jawline. "But we do want you to understand. All 3 of us. Is that something you can accept?" Jonas's mind spun. A month ago, he'd been completely alone. Now 3 extraordinary beings were offering him something he'd never dared imagine. I've never... "Neither have we," Liza said softly, taking his other hand. "Not like this. Not with someone we chose freely." Serena knelt beside the couch, her crimson patterns glowing brighter. "On Lumara, love is not limited by your human rules. Hearts can hold more than one. Bodies can share more than one. But only if that's what you desire." Over the following weeks, they courted him properly. Nythara debated philosophy with him while pressed close in his reading chair, her breath warm on his neck. Serena pulled him into dancing to old earth music, her body moving against his until he was dizzy with want. Liza gave him massages that started innocent but ended with his pulse racing, her golden glow intensifying with every sigh he released. They kissed him, sometimes separately, sometimes together. Slow kisses that melted into deep exploration, playful kisses stolen in doorways, desperate kisses when the tension grew too thick to breathe. One night, Jonas woke to find all 3 in his bed, curved around him protectively. Nythara's silver eyes opened in the darkness. "Stay," he whispered, though they showed no sign of leaving. "Always," she promised, her hands sliding beneath his shirt to rest over his thundering heart. Serena pressed closer to his back, her lips finding his shoulder. "Say yes, Jonas." Liza's golden fingers intertwined with his. "Please say yes."
Chosen hearts. "Yes," Jonas breathed, the word escaping like a prayer. "God, yes." Nythara's smile was radiant in the darkness. "Then we are yours, and you are ours." What followed was tender and overwhelming. 3 pairs of hands explored him reverently, learning every line and scar. Nythara kissed him deeply, while Serena's lips traced heat down his neck, her crimson patterns blazing bright enough to illuminate the small room. Lisa's golden luminescence pulsed in rhythm with their shared heartbeats, her gentle touches amplifying every sensation until Jonas gasped into Nythara's mouth. "We've dreamed of this," Serena whispered against his skin, her voice thick with desire. 3 centuries of waiting, and you're worth every moment." They moved together like a symphony, Nythara guiding him with confident grace, Serena matching his passion with fierce intensity, Lissa wrapping them all in her warm glow. Jonas had never felt so wanted, so cherished, so completely consumed by affection and desire. The night blurred into sensation, soft cries and whispered names, the slide of skin against skin, fingers intertwined and lips meeting again and again. When Nythara finally drew him into her, her silver eyes holding his gaze, Jonas felt something fundamental shift in his chest. This wasn't just physical. This was communion. Serena took her turn with playful dominance, her laughter turning to breathy moans. Lissa was sweetness itself, trembling beneath him as golden light cascaded around them. And together, all 3 surrounding him, touching him, loving him, Jonas discovered pleasure he hadn't known existed. As dawn approached, they lay tangled together in his too small bed, skin cooling, hearts still racing. "I love you," Jonas said, surprising himself. "All of you. Is that crazy?" No more crazier than us loving you, Nithara replied, kissing his forehead. We claimed each other tonight, Serena added, her patterns now a soft ember glow. The bond is complete. Lyssa snuggled closer, her golden radiance gentle and content. You're not alone anymore, Jonas. None of us are. For the first time in years, Jonas Reed felt truly, completely home.
Eternal belonging. The weeks that followed transformed Jonas's life entirely. His tiny quarters became a haven of laughter, passion, and belonging. The sisters learned human cooking and filled the space with exotic aromas, blending Lumaran spices with earth cuisine. Nithara helped him with his cartography work, her ancient knowledge of star systems proving invaluable. Serena convinced him to take dance lessons at the station's recreation center, where her uninhibited joy made him finally stop caring what others thought. Lyssa created a small garden by the viewport, coaxing bioluminescent plants to life. His colleagues noticed the change immediately. Jonas smiled now. He engaged in conversations. He seemed lighter, as if a burden had been lifted. "You seem happy," his supervisor remarked one day. "I am," Jonas replied simply, thinking of 3 beautiful beings waiting for him at home. The nights remained theirs alone, sacred hours of exploration and connection. Sometimes passionate and urgent, Serena pulling him into heated embraces the moment he walked through the door. Sometimes slow and reverent, Nithara teaching him Lumaran rituals of pleasure that left him trembling. Sometimes playful and tender, Lyssa giggling as they discovered new ways to bring each other joy. But it was the quiet moments Jonas treasured most, reading together in comfortable silence. Nithara's head on his chest, Serena's fingers tracing idle patterns on his arm, Lyssa curled at their feet. 4 hearts beating in synchrony under the endless stars visible through the viewport. One evening, 6 months after that fateful bazaar visit, Jonas looked at his 3 loves and marveled at the journey. "I spent my last 5 credits on you," he said softly. Nithara laughed, that crystalline sound he adored. "And we spent 300 years waiting. I'd say we all got an excellent bargain." Serena pulled him close, her warmth enveloping him. "The best investments are made with the heart, not the wallet." Lyssa pressed a kiss to his palm, her glow flaring bright. "You gave us freedom. We gave you love. Now we give each other everything forever." Under the stars they'd all mapped together, Jonas with his charts, the sisters with their memories, 4 souls merged into one family. What had begun with loneliness and chance ended with belonging and choice. The rundown station quarters no longer felt cramped, but cozy, filled not with empty silence, but with love's sweet symphony. Jonas Reed had bought 3 mysterious pods with his last pennies. In return, he'd gained 3 devoted hearts and an eternity of nights that would never again be lonely. Lessons from the stars. True wealth is measured not in credits, but in the love we choose to accept and give freely. Loneliness ends the moment we open our guarded hearts to those who see our worth when we cannot. The most beautiful treasures are often found in what others overlook, discard, or deem worthless. Love multiplies rather than divides. One heart can hold infinite devotion when all souls choose each other completely.